Right, let's crack on with it.
There is also misery, it's no mystery. And you and I, we got history, yeah. Wherever love flows, there is also tragedy when we're in too deep. And you and I, we got history, yeah. Go look in the mirror, say, hey, I'm sorry for all the pain. I'm sorry.
So guys, this Fiat 500 water pump's failed, so it's leaking coolant everywhere. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and drain the coolant, remove the auxiliary belt, get the engine mount off, and take off the timing belt cover so we can access the water pump.
For all the pain. My love, it grows with the memories like a symphony. And you and I.
Alright guys, now we've got the timing belt off, the timing cover off. We've got the engine mount off and your auxiliary belts off. That allows us access into the water pump. I'll let you see the play on that in a second. But the first thing you want to do is you need to attach your socket on your bottom crank pulley. Rotate your engine clockwise till you line up your timing marks. Now, the timing marks are freely available on Google. I use Autodata, but you don't need it. Easily accessible on Google. You can get an image of where they're supposed to be. A lot of manufacturers will use special tools, pins. There's loads of stuff you can do with drill bits though. Pin them up with drill bits and you're safe to take the belt off. There's other options. You're actually cutting the belt in half, taking it off, putting the new one on, and then slicing the last bit off when you've got the new one situated. But again, this is a very simple engine. 2 timing marks on the crank and the camshaft and we're good to go. So let's crack on. We'll get this tensioner off, get the water pump off, and we're ready to install the new one. Undo the tensioner. So then spring back. You don't need to loosen it all the way, just enough to move it back and get slack on the belt. Come in just gently. Get your belt off there. All the way around. Slide it off the bottom, like so. Now this belt is well past its best. Look at the cracking on that. I think the water pump failed at the right time. Right. Next, a few 10 mils and your water pump will be out. And there you have it guys, there's your water pump out and you can see the excessive amount of play on this. This was a few miles away from catastrophic engine failure. So now all we have to do is clean this up, fit the new one, new timing belt on, and we're good to.
Okay guys, all the parts are here, but this type of water pump needs a gasket sealer. And due to us being super organised, yeah, we've ran out. So we're gonna go hit up the auto parts store and grab some. Got it.
Now we've got our new water pump in, it's time to fit the new timing belt. So the timing belt's directional, most of them will come with markings on them. So make sure you're going to fit the belt in the right direction. And then you've got to make sure your marks are all lined up. So I've checked mine already. The bottom crank's still lined up, camshaft's lined up, so we can go ahead and get this belt installed. When we're installing the belt, you need to keep all the slack on the tensioner side. So you want to keep the belt as tight as possible, up round the crank, round the water pump, round the camshaft, and leave all the slack on the tensioner side. Now that the belt's on, we've made sure the marks still line up, so your crank and your camshaft. Now we need to tension the belt, so we're going to use a lever. Pop it in here, apply a little bit of tension, not too much. You don't want to over tension the belt because you'll do damage to pulleys and bearings. And then we'll nip this up. Make sure it's nice and tight. Again, no overly tight. Now what we want to do is rotate the engine by hand on the bottom crank pulley, same as what we done when we were lining it up. Check all the marks again, make sure the engine turns freely, check the marks line up, and recheck the tension on the belt. Now we've got that back on, everything's lined up, the tension on the belt's good, we've tightened the tensioner, we're good to rebuild the whole lot. We're not filling coolant yet, we'll give the sealer time to dry. So we'll get all this back together and then we'll fill up the coolant.
It's time to put it together the same way we took it apart. Let's get it!
that's it for the Fiat 500. It's all back to normal. We've saved it for catastrophic engine failure, and I hope it was helpful. It shows you that there is stuff you can do in your own car. You don't need any special tools, and you can save yourself a bit of money.
Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next one where we'll do something actually interesting. No more boring maintenance.
See you later.